So we go back to 2021 to really find the first salaries for this team event, because obviously 2020 we didn't have salaries for COVID. The COVID year, they canceled the tournament, I should say. In 2019, they didn't have salaries, as well as they also didn't have them in 2018. So I can't really go back any. It's bad. In my opinion, it's kind of bad. We only got 2 years of salaries to talk about pass optimal and GPP winning lineup. So I think it's still worthwhile. Just to give you guys a little heads up on how to build some of these lineups. And let's start here in 2021. Your optimal lineup left $100 on the table. Your GPP winning lineup left $0 on the table. Optimal scored 711. Your GPP winning lineup scored 685.5. So I think it goes without saying that the scores are going to be really high. I mean, like in 2021, your winning score or your winning team scored 141 points per player. 164 last year in the 2022 Zurich Classic. So it's going to be a high scoring affair. If you're in leagues, make sure that you're this is a moment where you could really score high points and catch up with the rest of your league mates. I'm thinking about that with mine. But here in 2021, your winners had a salary of $11,100. They were the top price guys. I'm pretty sure. They were not. I apologize. They were the 4th highest price guys. That's crazy. Okay, my bad. 11,100 is pretty expensive, but just showing you can build a lineup using 11,100, because then you would also pick, remember these guys are together, you can't pair them up together. So you couldn't do a Cam Smith and Mark Leishman lineup. You got to choose one of them. So just think of this as one entity. So that one entity was 11,100, followed up by 9,400, 7,100, 7,400, and then down here in 11th place, 6,800 and 8,100. So just to, I think most of you guys already see, it kind of follows the same process that I preach every single week. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. So if you're new to the channel, I say start your lineups, start building your lineups with a 10K golfer, a 9K golfer, an 8K golfer, 2 7s, and a 6. 25% of GPP winning lineups from the years 2020 to 2021 had that makeup. I have a video on this if you go and look at the Does Ownership Matter? Or if you go visit the Fantasy Golf Pod and we talk about strategies on how to build lineups. I have data for this. 25% of lineups that win GPPs follow that 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. And 11% of lineups use that strategy in hitting the optimal lineup. So that's pretty high. And then the next two salary constructions or salary, I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. Combinations, salary combinations. The second one on the list would be 1098 777, and then it's 1098 766. So no matter what, you're starting with a 10987. So it's probably the best way to start. And obviously we see this in 2021. When we go to 2022, your optimal left $300 on the table, and your GPP winning lineup only left $100 on the table. We have a $10,400 Patrick Cantlay and Xander combo. Then we drop down to a 7K, an 8K, another 7K, a 9K, and another 7K. So just to kind of repeat that, that was a 10K golfer, a 9K golfer. Remember, these are entities. You got to remember these golfers are playing together. I guess I could have done a better way to show you that they're paired up together. We could use a different sheet, but just use my word. They're paired together. So it goes 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7. Like I said, that is your second most common optimal lineup build, your second most common GPP winning lineup build. 10, 9, 8, 7 is probably the method you want to start with. Add another 7 and maybe a 6, or add 2 7s, or maybe just add 2 6s. I think there's a case to make for 2 6s. I really like the 6K range this week. Lots of sneaky plays that you could definitely do. But yeah, that's your pass optimal lineups basically. I didn't really cover the GPP winning lineups, but you can see in 2022 it was a 10K, 7K, 8K, 9K, 7K. Well, actually, let's do that again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7. 7. There you go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7. And that last group finished in 21st place. So you got a little wiggle room here. Looks like for both of these tournaments, because in 2021 it was 11, 9, 7, 7, 8, 6. There you go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. I know I said 11, but it's anything that's over 10K is what I call the 10K range. So 10K in Cam Smith, 9K in Keegan, scroll down to an 8K in Wyndham Clark, scroll back up to the 2 7s we need in Wierenski and Snedeker, and then Kyle Stanley's that 6K golfer. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. So it's kind of interesting. In 2021, both the optimal and the GPP winning lineup followed those salary structures, but had different lineups. Obviously, both those lineups would have won you money because the optimal scored more than GPP winning lineup. And they still follow the same structure. And then in 2022, they both were 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 7. Geez, almost at 6. 7, 7, 7 lineups. Both the optimal and the GPP winning lineup. And your GPP winning lineup then scored what? Oh, I didn't even total it up. You can do that pretty simple, pretty quick. 805. And your optimal scored, I gotta calculate that one. My apologies. $838. So there's about a 30-point difference. So that covers your pass optimal in GPP winning lineups. Actually, let's dive into this a little bit more. When we're looking at 2023, actually, here, how about this? I want to show you something when it comes to salaries. I'm glad I have it up. So this is the bucket system. I know it's probably an eyesore to most of you, but this is the engine that drives the bucket system. As I look at top 5 frequencies, top 10 frequencies, top 20 frequencies, cuts made, and the salary totals. This is what I want you to keep an eye on. 2021 was a little bit different. DraftKings probably didn't really know how to structure their lineups or their salaries as they wanted. You had 18 10K golfers, which is 9 teams that were 10K and above, 18 9K golfers, 28K golfers, 22 7K golfers, 29. That probably isn't right. There must have been, oh yeah, 2021 there was a withdraw. So this should actually be 30 high 6K golfers and then 52 low 6K. So it's really, that was really trying to make you build stars and scrubs, and the 10 9 8 7 7 6 method was your optimal and GPP winning lineup for this year. Look at 2022 and 2023. Basically the same salaries. Remember how I said there was one group missing? I imagine it's going to be in the low 6K. So you add those 2 golfers, which is one team, and we have identical numbers from last year to this year. These are counts. So there are 8 10K golfers and above. That's 4 teams. There are 12 9K golfers and above. Again, that's 6 teams. Obviously, do the math, divide by 2. The same as we saw last year. So I imagine you still want to start with a 10, probably still go with a 9, an 8, 2 7s, and then make your decision up if you want to go with another 7 or a 6. Obviously, you know, any salary structure, any salary combination can do the trick this week. But I just think that that 10K range, the 10K range is way too solid. I mean, if it's not Cantlay and Schauffele, it's hard not to go with either Morikawa Homa, Sung Jae, Keith Mitchell, or if you're feeling a little frisky, going with Justin Suh and Sahith Theegala. So I think most contrarians are going to go with the Seth Igala lineup. I really couldn't care less. I think I'm going to still stick with Xander and Cantlay. And then the 9K range is pretty solid. A lot of people probably are going to sleep on Horschel and Burns because of how bad Horschel's been playing. And that's fine. Again, we're going to use the buckets tomorrow to show you, you know, if you can feel comfortable playing someone like Billy Horschel. Remember, they finished second here last year. Going to a comfortable place can help. Can help golfers do well, get out of slumps. So I think that's a pretty decent play. I don't mind them, especially when I think a lot of people are going to go to the Kims, Siwoo and Tom Kim. But also there are other decent 9K golfers. Actually, I don't know. I think I would much rather just stick with Burns and Horschel than like Clark and Hosler. Like I could never. No thank you on Bo Hosler. No thank you. Buckley and Spawn, that's a pretty decent group. I don't mind that. Kitayama and Montgomery, it's like they identified, hey, we bombed the ball off the tee. Let's get together and make a team out of it. I don't know if this is going to be good for them. Maybe it will be because they're playing from similar distances. Could be. I guess I don't really care. And not a huge fan of the Lipsky Rye lineup, although they did finish here 4th. That's going to be a good bucket that we're going to talk about tomorrow. So, yeah, that's pretty decent. I'm not going to go through the rest of these guys, but I think there's still solid choices to do the 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. I mean, I think there's probably like really 2 groups that I would select in the 9K range. Probably just, I wouldn't mind 2 groups in the 10K range. And then the 8K range, you know, you got like Denny McCarthy, paired up with Joel Damon. I don't mind that. English and Hoagie, I don't mind that. Moore and Neesmith, Hardy Riley, I like. Adwin and Taylor, I like. Zaire and Brennan Todd, don't mind that. Doc Redman and Sam Ryder finished 3rd here last year. So that's a good team. And I actually don't mind that. I don't mind the team whatsoever. Really, I think this is going to be, just from my memory, Matt Fitzpatrick was talking about his brother Alex and said Alex has the potential to be better than Matt, if I remember correctly. Alex, I believe, is on the DP World Tour. You're not going to see any data from me because I don't keep track of that. I just keep track of the PGA Tour data. I think this is a sneaky group. I know Fitzpatrick just won. I think that probably adds more comfort. And I do think I think he adores his brother and he wants his brother to play well. This is kind of similar to the Brooks Chase Koepka thing, but I think I remember Matt just giving high praise to his brother Alex last year. I can't remember where it was, but I'm really liking that group. I also don't mind like Lee Hodges and Robbie Shelton. I think they could be a pretty formidable team. And I also really like Ben Martin and Chesson Hadley. Both are Bermuda specialists. You're not going to see that here on the screen, but they both like that grass surface, which actually, let's see. It is overseed. Okay. Greens are POA, just like we had last week, like we have with most of our overseed. It's going to be very, very similar, but it looks like Bermuda is still in the approaches, still in the tees, still in the fairways, and also still in the rough. Okay, so I imagine then the overseed's burning off. I'd imagine where Bermuda's going to be sprouting through. Now, depends on how the PGA Tour does that or the golf, I don't know. Possible, but I still probably choose Bermuda guys this week than others. And I think that's just going to cover the 8K range. There's a lot of good 7K golfers to choose from, and like I said, I like the 6K golfers. I'll cover more of this tomorrow in the strategy video. I'm not going to go player by player through all the salary ranges, but I just wanted to show you that you still have some good options in the 10, the 9, and the 8K range to start that way, going 10, 9, 8, and then figuring out the rest after.